So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this cold shoulder dress with the tie. So for that you might need about 2.5 yards of fabric. So the first thing you're going to do is to open your fabric up. What you're going to do is to fold your fabric into two, and then you check the length, the width you're going to use for your flay. So for me, I'm going to make my flay about 16 inches at the bottom. If you want, if you want it more flowy, you can use 17 or 18, anyone, but I'm going to use just 16 for mine. So that includes the seam allowance and everything. For this, I'm not going to be using hip measurement. If you're more on the bigger side, because this is for a large, but if you're like extra large, maybe you might want to use 17 for the flay or 18. So I'm just going to use 16 because I don't want it too flowy at the end. The next thing I'm going to do now is to check the length. So the length I'm going to use before adding the ruffle at the end is going to be 34 inches, but I'm going to add extra 1 inch for my seam allowance, so that's going to leave me with 35 inches. So I'm going to mark 35 here, and then the next thing I'm going to do now is so this part is going to be my shoulder. So you just come here, mark your shoulder. So the shoulder I'm working with is 16, but since it's going to be sleeveless, 16 divided by 2, which is supposed to be 8, but since it's going to be sleeveless, I'm going to subtract 1 inch from it, so that's going to be 7. So I'm going to mark 7 here, and then I'm going to come down here. The armhole I'm working with is 20 divided by 2, so I have about 10 inches here, and then I'm going to mark it this way. The next thing is to curve it this way, and then my shoulder to bust is about 10.5, somewhere the same line as this armhole here. So what I'm going to do is to check the bust measurement. So my bust is 42 divided by the bust measurement. What you're going to do next is just come to the bust, divide your bust measurement by 4, and then add extra 1 inch for your seam allowance. If you want it a little loose, then you might want to add extra half an inch for your ease. So that will be total of 1.5 that you added to your bust measurement that you already divided by 4. So for me, is 42 divided by 4 is already 10.5. So if I add extra 1 inch to it, I'm not going to be adding ease, so that will be 11.5 that I'm working with. So I've marked it here. The next thing is to go to your shoulder, come down by 1 inch for your shoulder slant, and then you're also going to come to the neckline here. So this is the front panel that I'm working on first. You mark this point here, and then you're going to come down by extra 1 inch, extra 3 inches. So you have 3 inches by 3 inches here. So 3 inches of width, and then 3 inches of length also. So you mark your neckline, and then you connect it this way. So now the next thing you're going to do after this is just go to the end here, and then connect your tape this way, like if you have a ruler, that would be better. So guys, the next thing you're going to do is to mark from whatever your bust measurement is, and then you're going to mark it like an A line, remember, and then you're going to go down all the way to this end here. So if you have a ruler, that's even better. You connect it going down this way. So now all you have to do is to cut it off. That's why I was saying, if you want it flowier, like if you're bigger and you want the bottom to be wider than this, then you might want to use extra, maybe 17 or 18 or 19. It depends on you, so that when you mark it, your angle goes even, like instead of this way, your angle might go wider at the end. At the end, it's just that this top part will still be fitted on your bust, but the bottom will just be flowy. So I'm just going to cut this out and then use this to trace my back panel. After that, as you can see, I've cut out the front panel, and with this same front panel, I cut another piece that looks exactly like the front panel, the same way. So I have 2 pieces of this here now. So what I'm going to do is to cut out the neckline for the back. The back doesn't have any, it's not going to have any zip. So I'm just going to come down 1 inch on the neckline here and mark it here, and then connect it this way. So this here is going to be the back neckline. So I'm going to cut it out now. So After that, I'm going to also cut out the shoulder slant. So this is it here. So I've cut out the shoulder slant. So that's basically it for the back panel. I'm not cutting any other thing from it. So I'm going to take it out and finish up with my front panel. So for the front panel, what I'm going to do now is to cut out the neckline here. So cut this out. And then also I'm going to, so guys, this is still the front. I'm going to open up the neckline by maybe about let's say 6 inches or 6 inches, so that you can be able to fit your head. So I'm going to go down by 6 inches, stop here. So open it up a little bit. So I'm down by about 6 inches here. So if you want, you could just, so if you want, you could stop at 5. If you want, you could go down. This is just for you to be able to put your head in and wear it. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to, so this is what it's going to look like. If you're going to be using a pocket for yours, then you know you come down by about from your shoulder to 18 inches, somewhere here. So you're going to notch it and know that this is where you're going to put in your pocket on the side. But I don't think I'll be using pocket for mine. Next thing I cut is my ruffle for the bottom, and I'm using about, so guys, this is what I'm going to be using for my ruffle. You can cut as much as you would need. So for me, this is what I'm going to be using for the bottom here. And the width is, because I want it to be 5 inches when I'm done, because my dress is going to be 34 inches plus the extra 5 inches from the ruffle. So the total length of my dress is going to be 39 inches. So since I need 5 inches from this ruffle, I added extra 1.5 for my seam allowance. So 1 inch is to fold the end, and then the other half an inch is to attach this to the main dress. So that will leave me with 5 inches if I remove the 1.5 from this 6.5. So basically what I'm saying here is, whatever you want to use as your ruffle, add 1.5 to it. So this is it for me here. And then the next thing I cut is for the sleeve, right? So this is what I'm going to be using for the 2 sleeves. So this is one side of the sleeve, and then this is, so I have 2 of it here. So remember, the sleeve has ruffle to it, and as you can see, you're going to pass elastic at the top. And I want my sleeve to be, for this, the sleeve, I'm using about 5 inches, so that I'm going to use 1.5 to fold the top, and then 1 inch to fold the bottom. So the 1.5 on top is to make loop for my elastic. So I'm going to use it to make loop for the elastic. I'm going to pass on top, and then the other 1 inch is to fold the end here, right? To fold the end here. So that way I'll have about 3 inches left for my sleeve. That's the sleeve that I'm using for the coat shoulder. So guys, then the first thing, so now I'm going to go to the sewing machine and start sewing. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get my front panel, which is the one with this slit. I have this piece here, which is about 5.5 inches of width, and then probably 9 inches of length here. So I'm going to place it here, right side facing each other. Place it this way. So this is how I'm going to do the facing. That's what I'm trying to show you guys here. So I'm going to go make a stitch all the way on one side, cross over to this side, make another stitch up all the way, and then use a scissors to cut this second piece here and flip it in. Attach the sleeve on one side. So this is what it looks like before I attached it. So like this. So I folded one part of it to pass the loop, and then I passed elastic through it and folded the other end. So all I have to do now is to just take one end of this here, and I want my coat shoulder to start. I already have a video on how to do this coat shoulder thing. So I marked where I want this coat shoulder to start. So on the same side, 5 inches coming down from my shoulder. If you want, you can make yours 4 inches. I made mine 5 inches. So what you have to do is just pull the elastic down, and then from this one end here, you're going to just You see, I made the mark on both sides, 5 inches coming down here. So you're going to put this here and then attach it. So you're going to make a stitch all the way from here. After putting in this, the first thing you're going to do on the sleeve is to put in the ruffled sleeve here. And then after stitching it in, the next thing you're going to do is to use bias to finish up the other end, like this top part, and then the remaining at the armhole here. Because as you can see, this sleeve doesn't go all the way in, except you made yours long, maybe your sleeve is about 6 inches, then it can cover the whole armhole, and then you just close it up. But mine is small, so I'm going to use this bias to finish it up here. Just make a stitch here. I already have a video on how to do the bias also. So I've done this side. When you're done, this is what it looks like. You're going to start from the inside and then fold it out. And then you see, after that, you're also going to complete the remaining sleeve. So you see, I've done this side. So basically, you get this piece of fabric about 1.5 inches for width. And then you can just make it as long as you would need. And then you place it here on the fabric, make a stitch on it, right? You see, I've placed it here, made a stitch, and then trim off the excess. So the next thing you're going to do now is just fold it this way, fold it again, and then you're going to make a stitch on it. So you're going to stitch it, close it up. So that's basically how you do the bias. So the same thing is what you're going to do on this side of the sleeve. First, you're going to do the top part here, finish it up, go all the way around to the back. And then the remaining piece here, you're going to use it to finish up the end here. So when you're done, your sleeve should look something like this side here. So I'm going to finish mine, and then we'll finish up the neckline. For the neckline, this is what I'm using here. Is about, it should be about, mine is 5 inches of width, and then the length is, it depends on you how long you want yours. Mine is a 60 inches length. So what you're going to do is just keep it this way, as if you're trying to make a belt, right? So you fold it. Let me set this aside here. So you fold it into two, and the belt here. So what you're going to do is to find the center, like fold it into two this way, and then find the center. So for me, this is the center here. I notched it, and then I also find the center on your dress, the center of the back. So this is it. I gave it a mark with chalk here. And then what you're going to do is to place it this way, and just place it this way, and figure out, like, doing it this way, you figure out where the belt will end, like where this neck belt is going to end. So for me, it's going to end here, right? So at the point that this belt is going to end, you're going to make a stitch on it. So you see, I made a stitch here to close up this to the end here, and then I gave it like an angle here. So I did the same thing on the other side. So this is going to end here. So I stopped here and gave it and closed it up. So now I have just this center part open. As you can see, I have just this center part here open. So I'm going to flip this belt out now. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and flipped the belt out on both sides. You can go ahead at this point and iron your belt if you want to. So guys, what you're going to do now is, after ironing it out, as you can see, what you're going to do is, from this notch that you made here, you're going to just hold it this way, open it up this way, and just keep sewing all the way around, right? You're just going to sew it all the way to the end. The same on this side too. So when you're done, you're going to use this one here. So when you're done, like let's say you've sewed this side down. So when you're done, you're just going to, it's as if this part of this belt now will be inside of this here. This part of the dress will be inside of the belt, and then you cover it, like you cover it this way and close it up. So now you pull this on top and just close it up this way. So when you're done, you have the belt this way on the neckline. So that's basically how you're going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you have any question, leave it in the comment section, and please like, share and subscribe. Bye.